Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on, all you scallywags? How y'all feel out there? Let's get ready to roll. Get this thing popping off right now, you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and, of course, all you haters. It is time for none other than Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Could you not hear yourself? Is your volume up or down? You can speak.
You were popping.
Was I?
Yeah.
Oh, that was probably, there was some weird reason behind that. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but I got to figure it out. My apologies for that, Rozan. Anyway, speaking of Rozan, that's her right there. That's Rozan on the radio. She is here and she is live. How are you, my dear?
Good.
Yeah?
Good.
You all right?
Yeah.
You have some of the president's speech that happened here in Connecticut. You're going to take some quotes. Well, you took some quotes from that, some things that you want to, that you found either fascinating or interesting that he said in that speech. Some of the things you read to me, I thought were very inspiring. Mm-hmm. I think that they set a tone.
Yeah. That's
very important, especially with the message that I'm trying to bring to Republicans and conservatives, even some unaffiliated folks here in Connecticut, about changing what this state has become recently and making it better.
Right.
So we'll get into that a little bit later. Also, we've got guests today running for Attorney General, Mr. John Bolton, who gave a rip-roaring speech at the convention this weekend, got a standing ovation, and many people love him and respect him and are rooting for him to go after William Tong. Oh, Billy. We are we're trying to unseat that guy just as much as we're trying to unseat Ned Lamont. Also on the program today, we're going to talk to the Vice President of Operations for Canines for Connecticut Vets. Doug Sanders will be here. And don't forget, folks, we are promoting this for the next 2 weeks. We need to reach and raise $25,000. Sorry about that. $25,000. And that is going towards Tucker to be trained to end up being partnered with a Connecticut vet of the choosing of the Canines for Connecticut Vet Foundation. So we'll talk to him, and we'll be talking to plenty of folks that are involved, from trainers to presidents to vice presidents to recipients. We'll be talking to all of them in the next 2 weeks as we continue to fundraise for them every year. And this time is no different. So if you'd like to, go to WTIC.com/vets. WTIC.com/vets. I'm getting some info on this story about the cockfighting in Tallinn. And we're trying to get some information about the 100 people who have been arrested. I do have some names of the individuals. If you can believe this, Rozan, how many non-Hispanic names do you think are listed in the 100 people arrested?
Okay. I'm going to say...
Non-Hispanic names.
Not Hispanic.
Yes.
But they are definitely of some ethnic variation, I'm going to assume.
I can't say that based upon the name except for one. I'm
going to say that we're not...
Yes,
Latino.
not.
I'm going to say 6.
6. Okay, good. If you would like to, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com and give me the number that you... Don't cheat. Give me the number that you think were non-Hispanic names out of 100 people arrested in the Tallinn cockfighting ring. Okay? Just tell me the number that you think. Don't cheat. I did look up the names. I do have a list of them. We'll get into it, so stand by. Sorry. Adam 12, just send me the info. He's sending jokes. Of course he's sending jokes about it.
That doesn't sound like Adam.
It doesn't sound like Adam at all. Also on the program, I want to talk about J. Allen Jones. Yesterday, when I was at the press conference for the signing of the bill 5001 with the governor, the ACLU of Connecticut was there, and I asked them about J. Allen Jones. We have an update on that story, which I will read to you also today with a host of different things on the list. Jeannie types in 8 non-Hispanics arrested. Okay, 8, Jeannie. We'll have that. We will tabulate that and see how many. We'll see who gets it right. Maybe we'll get him a Reese on the radio shirt or something like that.
Wait, do I get a T-shirt if I win?
You get your husband. That's what you get. Fine. Anyway.
So I'll just take that.
Also in the news today, what was the other thing? Okay, we got the commencement. We've got John Bolton. We've got the stupidest thing, which actually goes back to Christmas with Rozan. I can't wait to tell her about this story. And, of course, Doug Sanders, the VP of Operations for Canines for Connecticut Vets, and a whole lot more. We got to talk about what the president and the primaries that happened yesterday as well. And there's so much news that's going on. Also, folks, you know it. You love it. You know darn well that it was going to happen today with the NAACP coming out of the woodworks. They had the audacity to give us Negro nonsense.
Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you? Negro nonsense. How dare you?
We'll get into that as well. Stand by for that. And if we're lucky, maybe a couple of surprises. Anyway, I'm reading this story. And I'm saying to myself, I knew it would happen, but I thought they would wait. But they did not. They were quick on the draw. The conventions were held this weekend, and they were all anyone could talk about. Because there were so many prognosticators out there, they made us believe that this was going to happen, that was going to happen. The political winds say this, the political winds say that. And then when they didn't happen, which again was important for them, they had already set the stage. They believed that this was going to happen because that was the narrative going forward. See, I told you so. And the thing that didn't happen, and the thing that did, completely contrasted their predictions. What do I mean? If you've been living under a rock, you probably know that after the scandal that affected Aaron Stewart's campaign, going into the convention on Friday, it was believed that many delegates would sit this one out. They would hold out their vote for spite, or they would give those votes to Betsy McCoy, creating a contested convention, which would lead to a primary. You know the results. That didn't happen. It did not materialize. And here we are where we are. Okay, sorry, there's somebody else. Anyway, so when that doesn't materialize, you go over to the Democrat camp. You get to the Democrat camp, and everybody says, Josh Elliott, snowball's chance in hell. He gets 15%. I doubt he gets 8, 9, 10%. But there will not be a contested election because Lamont has got this in the bag. Even though we had published reports that some 44% of Democrats did not want him to run for a third term, regardless of the November poll of 2025 that said he was the 4th most popular governor in the country. So then that convention happens, and what takes place? Josh Elliott comes up with 25% of the delegate vote. Whoa.
Yep.
That's insane. Now, Lamont's running around talking about, thank you, Democrats, thank you so much for your strong support. He used the word strong support. Strong.
Well, I mean, it's stronger than the 25% that Elliott got, but
yes.
I mean, I'm not sure have much like a vote of confidence, and
Right.
like a strong support would have been like what Ryan Fazio experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Was it 92%? 92%.
Right. Betsy walked away with 8.
Right.
So, in essence, what we saw was a flip-flop. Now, Connecticut Public Broadcasting, whatever they are, they are disappointed by these results. Well, they are. Of course they are. Because they wrote a headline today with the what was the headline? I thought I had it here. Did I move it? The heck if I did. Yes, here it is. The headline read something along this line: Connecticut conventions reveal deeper party tensions. What? What do you mean they reveal deeper party tensions? Maybe Thursday. I would even argue Friday morning. But that didn't come to fruition on Saturday for the Republicans.
These are the prognosticators, the ones who projected and presumed and assumed and predicted the outcomes. And almost a week later, they're going, wait, what just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
But this article is written. This article is written, of course, after the fact of the conventions, but still tries to push the narrative that there are deeper divides. And then includes all of the things that have already been decided. Yes, Erin was taken down by her own scandal. She decided to drop out a day before. She's gone. It's over.
Can I just say real quickly, if you are new here, Reese on the radio actually made all of these predictions last month, if not 6 weeks ago. And everybody kept looking at him, and I'm standing there watching as, oh, no, you don't understand Connecticut politics. I just want to say, if you are still doubting in Reese on the radio, a lesson that I've had to learn myself, just don't.
So wait. So
it's annoying.
After writing this article talking about the things that have already been settled, Erin's scandal hits, Erin drops out, the convention happens. This article still tries to play it as if there is a deep divide. With 92% of the delegates, we're talking about a deep divide. How deep are we talking here?
Did they get confused, like the D and the R? Are they like Lisdexic?
No, but it proves to me one very important thing about all of this.
The media.
No. They want there to be this sort of overtone, this tone, if you will, that the Republican Party in general
is fractured.
Right.
The media is trying to create a narrative that doesn't exist.
Don't believe your lying eyes. Nothing you saw at the convention and the 92% of the delegates that Ryan Fazio got, that's all an illusion. Everyone's still bitter and angry and really are out for blood. And, you see this sort of unified group, but it's all nothing more but window dressing and makeup on a pig and all this other nonsense, because they could not believe that the true party of fracture is now the Democrat Party. Because, again, that 25% of the delegates is one thing, but the primary is going to say so much more, because Ned Lamont has to go out there and get primary votes up against Josh Elliott, and he has got to literally campaign in his own party about his own political survival.
I think they need to do debates after 8 p.m.
That's foul.
I'm just saying.
Foul.
Listen, you can be mad at me all you want to, but after 8 p.m., I'm telling you, I don't know how much is out there. I'm just saying, after 8 p.m.
Let me play this for you. I'm going to go here because I didn't play these yesterday. This is Lamont on, Dennis House's show on WTNH on Sunday. This is what he said about the Connecticut delegates, or Connecticut for that matter, in the Democrat Party. That was weird.
This was a strong, overwhelming vote of support from the delegates at the convention yesterday. I really appreciate it. I think it's not just a vote of confidence in Susan and myself, but really the direction of the state, and standing up to Trump and standing up and fighting for the middle class and working families. I think that's what it said. As you maybe mentioned or saw, I also wanted to reach out to the people that didn't vote for me. I said, I'm fighting here for each and every one of you. The Democrats are stronger when we're united. We got to be united this fall. Take on.
That's what he said. Hold on. He even talked about, and this was really, really strange to me, Rozan, because he was asked if he had talked to Josh Elliott, and his answer was weird.
Let's talk about Josh Elliott. So you have to face him in a primary now. Have you had any conversations with him since that vote happened yesterday?
I don't think so. We crossed paths a little bit yesterday.
I don't think so. Either you did or you didn't, Mr. Biden. I mean, Lamont.
Sorry. Anyway.
Let's talk about Josh Elliott. So you have to face him in a primary now. Have you had any conversations with him since that vote happened yesterday?
I don't think so. We crossed paths a little bit yesterday.
What do you mean you don't think so? What is going on? What is going on?
Where is his Easter bunny?
I don't know.
He needs an Easter bunny.
He needs an Easter bunny.
He does.
What? That is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't think so.
Do you not remember?
That's gonna be my line henceforth. I don't think so.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, he needs his own little Easter bunny that walks around. We're looking over here now. Mr. Biden, I mean Lamont. Bidemont. That's his new name.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Anyway, so, of course, he was also asked about whether or not, what was the question? Oh, whether or not he was progressive enough. And again, this is the point that I was making to Minority Leader Vince Candelora.
What is your message to his supporters that they should instead support you?
That I think, number one, we are much stronger taking on Donald Trump, much stronger taking on his candidate this fall if we're united going forward. Republicans are very hopeful that we're going to have a divided primary and divide people back and forth. Let's not let that happen. Let's stick together.
His supporters...
That's already a done deal.
Supporters say they support him because you are not progressive enough. You're not liberal enough. In your judgment, why do you believe they are wrong?
I think talk is cheap. Look at what Susan and I have accomplished over the last 7 years. They tried to raise the minimum wage for years. We got it done. They tried to get paid family and medical leave. We got it done. They tried to get universal early childhood education for people. We got it done. Talk is cheap. Look what we've been able to accomplish, and we're just getting started.
We're going to spend a whole lot of your money.
You forgot a couple of things.
Yeah.
We tried to raise your property taxes. Done. We tried to raise your energy prices. We got it done.
Yeah.
We tried to increase the homeless population. We got it done.
We put the poor in your neighborhoods.
That's right.
We got it done. And we're just getting started.
Just getting
And you
started.
think your town is screwed up? We're just getting started. That's the part. We got to take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and all of this when we return. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. I want to give a shout out and an applause to TJ Duarte, who is following in his future godfather's footsteps. He gave a speech at the Masters School in Simsbury today. He's sending me pictures right now. And that's a good opportunity for him, getting out there and sort of working his likeness and all over the areas, going to places that are inviting him, coming to speak, learning to articulate his message to young people, to get involved in politics, to get involved in civics. That's really, really good for him, and I'm very proud of him. I had to pluck that kid right out of work. Said, and people, for those of you, whoever it was, by the way, and I've never really given you credit, and I should. For those of you who were in the Waterbury page who told TJ to contact me, thank you for doing that. That was it was good on you to do that, to sort of, you saw the potential in him and said, I think a person that would like you is Reese on the radio, and I thank you for thinking of me in that way. So it was you who made that possible, so I totally commend you and appreciate you. Anyway, when we were just talking, we were talking about Ned Lamont and this sort of, I don't want to call it fractured, but there'll be a primary between himself and Josh Elliott. And Josh Elliott is going to go full bore on progressivism when it comes to the state. and that is taxing anyone and everyone. 4% here, 1% there. Free stuff for everybody else. They're not paying enough. And while Lamont is trying to meet him there and trying to sort of combat that, saying, no, I'm the progressive, after screaming and hollering that he wasn't, that he was a moderate on an island, is quite interesting. Hey, do me a favor. Is the president's actually speaking live? Where's he at right now? Where does it say he's at on the top of the screen? Oh, you don't have your glasses on. Is he sitting in Connecticut, or is he already landed? Because he's talking to the press for a long time. It's like he's talking everywhere for a long time. What does it say on the top? Is he at Andrews? Oh, okay, so he just landed in Andrews. Yeah, I don't know what it is about Air Force One, but how come Air Force One can get one place to another without taking an hour? This guy's getting to places in 20 minutes. What's going on?
Perks to be the president.
Apparently.
Perks.
Like, it was 12 o'clock. Morgan Cunningham was talking about the president hadn't left. Right? 12 o'clock today. He said 11 o'clock today. He said the president had not left Andrews Air Force Base to give the commencement speech at the Coast Guard here in New London. Right? All of a sudden, I look up, and the president's walking down the aisle at the place. I'm like, who gets there in a half an hour? And we were talking about landed and then took whatever. Like, he lands at Bradley, then he goes to New London, and he's there 30 minutes, the whole thing?
It's good to be the president.
Nice. That's why you're here. You're so quick and smart. Anyway, we were talking about Lamont here.
Oh, my gosh.
And Lamont baffles me with the way in which he sort of behaves that I cannot recognize outside of Joe Biden. I'm not calling a man old and senile, but he clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me go back to this. For those of you who just joined us, he was asked by Dennis House on Sunday if he had met with Josh Elliott, they had had a conversation at all. Did you talk to Josh Elliott during the convention? I guess to sort of ask, hey, how, can we work this out? Can you, just let me run unopposed? But he says the most inexplicable thing.
Let's talk about Josh Elliott. So you have to face him in a primary now. Have you had any conversations with him since that vote happened yesterday?
I don't think so. We crossed paths a little bit yesterday.
I don't think so. I don't really remember.
I was there, but I'm not sure exactly whether or not we exchanged any pleasantries.
There's a bunny there.
I do know that I walked past him. Did you have a conversation?
Somebody told me I walked past him, but I don't really remember.
Let me get back to you. I'll ask my staff if I actually talked to him. Let me get somebody on the staff to tell me. So, anyway, no, he didn't leave Groton Airport. He just landed in Connecticut. He didn't walk off the plane. I didn't say he did. Morgan, stop correcting me. I didn't say he walked off the plane. Anyway, so this whole thing about the fractured party has more to do with what Lamont has already done and what he's planning on doing later. I want to play this as well.
I think the Democrats have made a difference in people's lives. I think the Democrats have made a difference in making our lives a little more affordable in a state that's very complicated. Republicans always want to eliminate the income tax. We eliminated the income tax for working families, not for millionaires. We had the biggest middle-class tax cut in this state's history. People promise it. We got it done. I think that's the message.
Okay, that is an absolute lie. That is a 100% lie.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Do you pay income tax?
Everybody here does. At least most people do.
But Ned just said that it was gone, that he eliminated the income tax for middle-class families.
Old Morgan is correcting me. He says, no, he didn't leave Groton Airport when he said he hadn't left the plane yet, or he hadn't left yet. Okay, thank you for the clarification, Morgan. Thank you. I thought you said he hadn't left Andrews yet. Thank you. So he was already in there. He just hadn't left. Thank you. I appreciate the clarification. But anyway, so he's saying that he lowered the, he removed the income tax. But he knows that's not true. And House knows that's not true, but didn't say anything about it.
I think the Democrats have made a difference in people's lives. I think the Democrats have made a difference in making our lives a little more affordable in a state that's very complicated. You know, Republicans always want to eliminate the income tax. We eliminated the income tax for working families, not for millionaires.
And he didn't even do that.
Hold on, I'm asking Grok, because...
But hold on. There is one thing that I want to get out of this, and it's the most important piece in all of this, is when he is asked...
It did not. State income tax for the middle class.
Go ahead, you can read it.
He signed the largest income tax cut in Connecticut in 2023, but it was a rate reduction on the lowest brackets.
On the lowest brackets?
Yeah. So
a rate reduction.
So someone making a single person making $10,000 a year went from a 3% tax to a 2%, and a single person making $40,000 went from 5% to 4.5%. Wow. Thanks, Ned.
So let me get this last part. This is important. This last piece to get out is, with everything you know about Ned Lamont and everything that you've seen in this political cycle, and if you've listened to Reese on the radio long enough, you will learn a few things, or you will take note of a few things. Rozan, I'm going to test you as one of the listeners, so to speak. I know you don't always listen to the show, but you listen to it when you're here. But you often hear me talk about some of this stuff over and over again. What is the one thing that I say about a campaign that could be its
never
undoing?
Let your slogan be your undoing. It's
What's
time
that?
For something different. Never let your campaign slogan be your undoing.
That's right. Never let your campaign slogan be your undoing.
I was listening that day.
That's right. We said it about Aaron Stewart. It's time for something different. Came back to bite her because, in essence, the things that she was talking about that was happening in Connecticut, she's now being accused of doing.
Lamont Light.
Right. Okay. That's what she's been called. I think somebody called her Erin Rowland recently.
Ow.
Yeah. Real bad. So never let the campaign slogan be your undoing. I give you Ned Lamont's campaign slogan, asked to him by Dennis House.
Oh, no.
Come on.
How would you put your campaign into a slogan for a third term?
We're just getting started.
Oh, no. I don't want any more. I don't want any more, please. Please, sir. I don't want any more.
How would you put your campaign into a slogan for a third term?
We're just getting started.
Hold up, homeboy. You've been here 8 years. What did you do for 8 years that you're just getting started now?
He doesn't remember. He can't remember.
8 years and now you're just getting started? Get started to do what?
Forgetting.
What? Did you? Let me just put it this way. Here's the thing. For the first 8 years, you know what he did? He was lacing the place with gasoline. He's just getting started setting it on fire.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
He's looking for his matches now.
Exactly. That's the whole point. I love that Ryan Fazio brought up the point. Just getting started. What have you been doing for 8 years? We don't want any more. And I think the way that you framed it is best. I've had enough. Please don't start anymore. That's where he is. That's the insanity he is at right now. And I don't understand it. I don't why anyone would tell him to use that. You're 8 years deep. Everything is a mess.
Yeah, you have a growing homeless population. You have an increase in abandoned buildings. You have corporations that are leaving in mass numbers. We're starting to look similar to California in our U-Haul rentals, out-of-state one-way rentals. If you are going to homeless shelters and food banks and proudly cutting ribbons, and although those are great things to do, but if you're having to do this repeatedly to brand new places over and over again, the problem isn't Donald Trump. Let's focus on Ned Lamont and what you can do here, right? So if those are your your glorious moments, those are your bragging points, maybe we're doing something wrong.
Absolutely. He is really, really insane. I wanted to make sure that we played that today so that you guys could hear it for yourself. Let's take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views, Negro nonsense coming up real soon right here on Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio, Rozan on the radio. We are here. Great comments coming in about anything and everything under the sun. I have to find this article because I know you people had asked the question about the illegals, how many illegals were involved in the cockfighting ring. I had it in front of me, but I need to go. Here we go. Okay. For those of you who asked, let me read. Should I read what they wrote? Like some of the numbers that came in?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go through some of the numbers. So I asked earlier, how many of the 100 people arrested in the Tallinn cockfighting ring were non-Spanish named individuals? Let me see. We got Jeannie said 8. Chris Z said 5. Let me see. Carmine. Oh, hey, that Carmine B.
Carmine?
That's a Boston Carmine. He says 2. He says non-black or Hispanic. He says 2 people. And I think that's all the numbers we got so far on this list. Here is the numbers. We have a Campbell, a Hayes, and a Wen.
What are the first names?
Kayvon, Gary, and Dung. So I'm assuming Kayvon is definitely not white guys.
You don't know.
Kayvon is not. Gary, that's up in the air. It's up in the air. Gary could be a white guy, could be a black guy. And Dung Nguyen is definitely not a white guy.
I mean, again, you don't know.
He's darn sure not Hispanic.
Listen, Rachel Dolezal. That's all. What is her name now? Kufi Mobutu or something?
The other examples of the names reported in this, from what we were able to gather, were last names that included Rodriguez, Cruz, Martinez, Soto, Rivera, Ortiz, Perez, Gonzalez, and Vasquez. Those are the names. So, no, there were not 8 or 5. There were 3 non-Hispanic names.
Out of 100.
That's right. Out of 100. Yes, out of 100. That is correct. Out of 100, without a doubt. Also, some other comments in there. Thank you. Muscle Car Appraisal says, love the show. We appreciate that. John says, vote red. This punk couldn't go to the Coast Guard Academy to honor the cadets and give Trump and all involved support. Don't need that BS in the country. Vote red. Couldn't agree more, John. That is a good one. He says, Lori says, we got a higher cost out of mere existence in Connecticut and lots of debt. That once he leaves, the office will relocate to a low-tax state. I hope you don't have to. John also writes, 8 years, and you're just getting started? Laugh out loud. Matt Soroy's in the chat room. Give it up for Matt Soroy.
Hey, Matt.
He says that Dennis House is shaking his head. He's like, homie, shaking his head because he knows the BS flowing out of his mouth. King Lamont, I don't think so. I'm the governor. I don't know what that even means. Everything always leads back to Trump, Lori writes. Also, King Lamont is an embarrassment to this state. Doesn't welcome or show up for the president today. Zero money now from the federal government. Brilliant bozos. He's right. He's 100% right. They set themselves up so they can be on the stage and complain about the money that they're not getting from the federal government. Also, I want to say, Anita writes, please do your research on John Rowland. He was actually one of the best governors in Connecticut. Connecticut had in the last 40 years. Rowland was run out of office for accepting a gift of a hot tub. Meanwhile, Lamont. I'm not arguing about any of that. When I made the statement about Erin being compared to Rowland, in essence calling her Erin Rowland, only in the regards of he being accused of enriching himself, even with a hot tub. That was the point that they were making about Erin. I'm not suggesting that what she did was what Rowland did. You know what I'm saying? It's like they are separate things. I just quoted that what they're saying online is they're calling her Erin Rowland as a smear. That's my point. That was why I said it. So Anyway, Carmela says, I'm so glad that I left work early today. Rama says, Ned just getting started. That line is like Biden's watch me. Watch what? We've been watching you, and it wasn't pretty. Such a great line. Just watch me.
Decomposition is not pretty to watch. It's just not.
I love hearing him say it, that we're just getting started. And as soon as I heard it, I went, who is the lunatic?
The same person that wrote errands.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, there is that
Proto
argument
over there on
no.
the Democrats? Are you sure?
Well, you are only exacerbating the argument that is a uniparty anyway. But you know what? Ask Mark from West Hartford. He'll tell you Rozan's probably right. They've got the same speechwriters and the same campaign managers in a lot of cases. Like I said, I think there's a lot of that.
It's a lot of incest. Political incest. Come on now.
By the way, correction. Thank you, Janine, for this. Our guest, who's going to be here today, he is the vice president, he's the vice president for Forever in Our Heart Foundation, Doug Sanders. He's the VP of operations for Forever in My Heart Foundation. He will be our guest later on today at 4:44. Also, our guest will be, why am I forgetting his name now? John Bolton, who is running for Attorney General. He'll be here as well. I talked to him yesterday, so he'll be here at 4 o'clock as well. Let's get to the WTIC newsroom with John Silva. I remembered his name. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio, Rozan on the Radio. So the President of the United States was in New London, gave a speech, a commencement speech for the graduates of the Coast Guard. And you checked it out while I was getting the show ready because you like listening to Donald Trump's speeches. That kind of helped you sort of discern
fact from reality.
Fact from fiction.
Yeah.
On what was always being said about him. You started listening to his speeches at campaign rallies, and you found him funny, and you found him, off the cuff. You sort of saw him as just a regular guy who seemed to be talking to people as opposed to at them.
I got a very different, I'm sure that's what you think I see. I'm
asking.
Yeah,
wasn't that the case?
No, what I actually saw was someone who actually cares about our country.
Mm-hmm.
I am a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
I am the child of veterans. I've married, my former spouses are veterans. And as we all know, the boy is on the way to begin his journey into the armed services. So I grew up with a tremendous amount of pride in this country. To this day, and it's going to sound really lame, but every time I hear the national anthem, I cry. Like, I am filled with tears. My heart is just pounding. My chest is full of pride that this is the greatest nation and I get to live in it. And to see a president who is no longer ashamed of our country, who's no longer, bowing down to Islamic princes, to see someone who's putting us first, someone who's putting, women in a safer position, someone who's fighting to keep our streets safe, someone who just genuinely has normal human American thought processes on things like, well, maybe we should stop, putting people in jobs because they're black, lesbian, transgender, gay, midget clowns.
Right.
Like this DEI crap doesn't matter. And the more that I started listening to President Trump actually speak for himself, the more awake I became, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so
there was no filter. It was you and the president listening to his conversation. Nobody else was sort of filtering it out to you.
It wasn't a filter. It was being translated.
And
that's
point.
the difference, right? And when the boy was here, I'm watching him watch these videos where they're translating their version of what they're hearing to him. And he's like, no, I firmly believe everything he's saying. And I'm going, oh, my God, I recognize this because I believed other people too, right? But hearing the president in his own words really altered my mindset, my perspective, because I'm no longer being fed somebody else's version of things. And anytime I get a chance to see the president speak now, I'm jumping on it because I want to hear directly from him what he's thinking, where he's going, how he's moving, and seeing what he says, hearing what he says, and then watching him do what he says. There's this little thing that we call consistency, right? When your words match your actions, that's consistent. Consistency builds trust. And right now I have more faith and more trust in our president than I have ever had in a long time.
And I believe that sort of that filter that's been taken away, right, has given you an opportunity to determine that with your own eyes. I think that I've said this before on this show very early on, before this was even the Reese on the Radio show. The thing that I tried to sort of, I don't know, I don't want to use the word educate. I was just trying to inform people that you should find it strange that during Jake Tapper's show, when the president is giving a speech, Jake Tapper jumps in and says, we'll join the program or grab anything pertinent out of it and then convey that to you when we do. Let's get back to our show. Right. We'll tell you. Let's get back to our show. Let's get back to my program instead of playing the president in his entirety. Right. So they would we'll get back to you if he says anything of importance. To which that lends to the idea Trump says something that they think is important. He says something, and that's how we got sort of the bloodbath. That's how we get the find people on both sides.
But who decides what's important? Like what's important to Rozan is not important to Reese.
Exactly.
Right? And so who are you to tell me what's important or what's pertinent?
So that's the part that I was trying to tell people. So there were so many, like Reggae Don, who I love. There were so many of those people who were telling me the president's point of view through the lens of someone else conveying it to them.
CNN
or even an influencer like the boy was talking about. It would be like, this guy is dissecting what Donald Trump says. And then when you ask them, well, wait a minute, did you actually see the speech? I don't need that because I'd rather have it filtered.
What they're saying is, listen, you're too dumb to formulate your own perspective. And not to mention that, I keep forgetting that idiot's name on CNN who told people research can be
Brian
dangerous. Stelter. Research is dangerous, right? Don't go thinking for yourself. That's dangerous. Let me tell you what to think. And I've been a little bit of a rebel, if you will, throughout my life. I don't care what everybody thinks. I don't care what your perspective is. I want to formulate my own. And
no, well, I was going to say, speaking of the speech, because, we can go on about this all day, there were some quotes that you jotted down.
That I love.
That you really, really loved about this speech. And so instead of going through sound bites, we could do that all day. In fact, we're going to probably do that later on in the show. I want you to read some of the ones that I thought you said resonated with you, and I immediately thought, wow, those are really, really great points.
They're so simple, right?
Right.
But these were the points that the president made. He said, take these 4 things with you as you move forward. The first one is never stop moving forward, right?
Yeah.
Utilize the momentum while you have it and never stop or take the easier path, which I thought, it sounds so simple, but never take the easier path.
Start with the first one again, the first point that you made. Read that one again.
Never stop moving. Utilize momentum. Do not wait or settle for easier.
Now I've got to tell you why that's so important. Not that I thought the president was thinking about where we are as a Republican Party in Connecticut, but that is something, when you read that earlier, when we were doing show prep, I said, that is a great motivator. That needs to be sort of pumped into the psyche of people of Connecticut as this election moves on. And as Ryan Fazio starts to move on, and Matt Corey and John Bolton, all of these guys, they need to start. That momentum that came from Saturday needs to continue. It's not a strike while the iron is hot. It's got to be, take that momentum and never slow down. It's going to get tiring. It's going to get boring. You're going to be repeating some of the same speeches and saying the same things and shaking different hands over and over again. And you're going to be, tired. But this is one of those things where when you get the momentum, you can't let it get away from you. What was another statement they made?
Be persistent. Keep pushing. Never give up. Let the other guy give up.
Damn right.
I love that. Now, the reason why these things are made such an impact on me is because I tend to start strong and then I fall off. Like I get bored or I lose the motivation, right? So these things really resonated with me. Another thing he said is that you have to have strength, not just physical strength, but mental strength. America was not created by weak men and women. And that's important because if you look at our founding fathers, these men, the average age, I believe, was 21 or 22. 21
was it really that young? I know they were younger.
Men, boys. I'm looking at the boy and I'm going, there's no way.
Right, he's 2 years away from that.
Right, there's no way. But, strength of, mental strength. And then the last thing that he said was actually, he quoted a golf player named, was it Gary Player? Yeah. The harder I work, the luckier I get. And it brought back things like, made me think of Kobe Bryant, when he says that he's, when people said he was the first one on the court, he was the last one to leave.
Right.
You always know a leader because leaders move silently.
And you also know greatness because of that.
The leader will always work, even when you're not motivated. The leader will always pick up where you're slacking. The leader will always continue working, even when you've gone home and gone to bed. I mean, that's it right there. I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, God, you wake up in the morning and you're working. You go to bed and you're working. Sometimes I wake up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and you've rolled over and you are on your phone working. And, that's what it takes in this country to be successful, or anywhere in the world. In life, that's what you need to be successful. You just have to keep working.
I know that there are some people, you bring up a good point about this, and I love the fact that he gave this speech to these cadets, these graduates at the Coast Guard, because that is something you only hear at a commencement speech. And maybe they do hear it, at school. It's a military school. I'm pretty sure that motivation is a huge part of what they need to do. They get pushed every day.
Absolutely.
Which is so different than, in everybody's everyday life. But the reason why televising these commencement speeches or speeches like this on television is so important is that a young kid needs to hear that, all of that, not that they're lazy, that working hard and working long hours breed results if indeed you put it in, if you really care about something. And I almost wonder if you look at some of these kids look at these speeches or hear these speeches and say to themselves, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can put in that long work. I
think we all, in training, right? I think we all get to that point where it's like, oh, God, I don't know if I'm just so tired. I remember in basic training going to bed every night and being so freaking hungry, right? Just kept thinking, I don't know if I can do this. One thing that they taught us is that your body will do whatever your brain tells it to do. You can be ready to stop. Your legs can be ready to quit. Your heart can be ready to burst. But if you talk yourself into continuing just one more step, just one more mile, you can do it. And that's the whole basis behind, I think, President Trump's whole speech is that it's in you. You have to dig deep. Nobody's going to give it to you. You don't get it because of the color of your skin. You don't get it because of your sexual orientation. You don't get it because of your gender. It lives inside of you. The government can't hand it to you. You have to dig deep and decide if it's worth it. And if it's not worth it, then get out of the way. Let somebody else do it.
Interesting. I would rather, if I could, I would love to see some of these people work really, really hard to achieve something, and then when they achieve it, recognize it when the government comes in to take a piece of it. And then they can understand that sort of, that duality in all of this is that, government is there. Rush used to say it all the time. Government does not create success. It just doesn't. That isn't its job. That's not its function, right? Government's job is to tax it, right? It's always there to take from success. And I wish that his speech was sort of someplace, now every place that you can possibly get that speech, that you grab that, even snippets of it, and sort of repeat it over and over again in your kids. And don't even, if your kids have this issue about hearing things from Donald Trump or even hearing his voice, just take the quotes. You know what I mean? Write them down and read them to your kids.
Or send it in a text.
Send it, exactly. Send it in a text and just say, you know, like somebody says, hey, who said that, Mom? You just go, I did. It just came to my head. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect lie.
Listen, I'll tell you one day. Today you're not ready for this.
Yeah, no, I would totally lie. It's like, wow, what a great quote, Dad. Where'd you get that from? Made it up myself. It just came out of nowhere. I'll take credit for it because
plagiarizing the president.
I would plagiarize the president to motivate my kid. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? If I see my kids in a slump and I figured I say something that's going to motivate them, yeah, hell yeah, I would totally take. I don't understand why you would. This is, you know what this brings me to? That conversation I had with this woman in Boston, you know, talking about whether or not I would be jealous that, you know, that my son had formed a relationship with her, right? It was like, you know, he almost treats me kind of like a second mom, and I didn't know if that was offensive to you, like if you took offense to that. And my response to her was, why would I be offended at my son having more love in his life?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make it. So I'm angry because someone else in this world besides me loves him just as much, and I'm going to frown on that. Like, let me get in the way. It's like, oh, no, you can't love him. I'm the only person that's allowed. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, and you're not, because of course you're not thinking in that framework that just says, what? And when I said it to her, she goes, well, I never really thought about it like that. And I was like, yeah, you love him. I love him. I said, everybody here loves him. I was like, imagine. The only thing that I would combat is if a bunch of people hated him. Loving him, everybody's on board. If there are more people to love him, that means that more people will be here to protect him. There'll be more people here to back him up when he's in the jam. He's got more people to reach out to if there's something that's wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I look at that and saying the president gives a speech like this, and of course I would plagiarize the hell out of it. Because the bottom line is that all advice that I could possibly give to my child, I would make sure that they got. And if they had a problem that it came from Donald Trump, because imagine the weirdness it would be that if a perfect quote, as Trump would call it, a perfect quote to inspire somebody, and the quote read Donald Trump, that the kid would look at it and go, that's a great quote. Oh, no, it's not. You know, because right. Donald Trump gave it. It's ridiculous. So because of that, I wouldn't say I'm not going to give him the quote because Donald Trump wrote it. I just lie. Dad thought of this all on his own.
My dad's brilliant.
It's just one of those things. It's just one of those things you have to do. So you will continue to drink because Trump came to town. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. But that's only after 3 o'clock, Deborah says. I don't know who that was. Some of the comments on here are really disgusting. He is our president. Act like it. Don't. Deborah, Deborah, this is important.
Are there people being ugly here?
Yeah, I don't know. Deborah, let me tell you something. It is okay for people not to like the president of the United States.
Yeah, not everybody's got good taste, and it's okay.
But, Deborah, let me tell you, this is important. And, you know, we're talking about quotes here. Acceptance is the answer to everything in life. Everything in life. You have no control over that. And once you start inundating yourself with what other people say and the negativity that they bring, it takes you out of your own space. If you are a beautiful person, remain a beautiful person. That's who you are. If they are ugly people, they are going to be ugly people. Do not try to change them. Do not try to sway them. It is okay. What you need to do, and in this room you can, is spread your love even to them. Pray for them. That they see, that they have everything that they could possibly want.
Absolutely.
Be the person that you are, Deborah, and it seems like you're a very loving and giving and caring person. Just do what you do and always stick to your own mantra. You're going to be fine. What you want to say?
Absolutely. Well, actually, I just wanted to say hi to Damien and Dana over at Stadium 15.
Oh, okay. Hey, you guys over at Stadium 15. We got to do a live show.
We have to.
Over there. We're going to talk to the brass here to see if we could get that done. As soon as possible. I think it'd be fantastic, especially with all the virtual reality stuff that's over there. The sim bar that's over there. We'll see if we can get that popping soon enough. I'm one beautiful son of a biscuit. Yes, you are, Michael B. Scallywag indeed. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up in the next half hour, we got to talk about a couple of scandals that are happening. here in Connecticut, one of which involves something a little bit more than $229,000 in overpayments at the Connecticut Community College System, as well as some only $70,000 of money that has been recovered, and a whole bunch more going on. Oh, in fact, you know what? We'll do that part later because it is, let me see, it's going on 3. Why not? You know what? When we come back, Negro nonsense. You're not going to want to miss this one because this may involve your kids if they are athletes in the Southeastern Conference. You don't want to miss this. Stick around. It's Reese on the radio right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Rozan on the radio is here. And we haven't even done this in like 2 weeks. I'm so busy. Maybe even been 3 weeks since we did the last one here on the show. Oh, by the way, I wanted to play this before we do it. I'm all over the place here. Let me play this. Mark of West Hartford sent me this. We were talking about Ned Lamont, and, we're just getting started. And Mark of West Hartford wanted me to play this for you guys because he said every time people hear it, they get ticked off. I'm not playing it to anger you. I'm playing it for Rozan, who's never heard of it before or heard it before. This was Ned Lamont's campaign ad back in July of 2018 before he took office.
So I turned 64 this year. Kind of liberating, actually. I'm not running for governor as a stepping stone. Not thinking about re-election. I'm not going to take a salary. And I don't need a government car. This one's going to do just fine. Middle class has taken a hit for years. Maybe it's time for your governor to give back as well. I'm going to be totally open about what we're doing. And honestly, I can't turn around the state in year one. But you're sure as heck going to know where we're going. I'm Ned Lamont, and I approve this message.
He said he's going to keep the car. He says he's not going to travel in a motorcade. He's always in an SUV. Never see him in the car.
I don't think he's allowed to drive, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm not sure he could pass a driving test.
Actually, he was out there pretty active in downtown. He was in
2018?
No. Just the other day when he was at that press conference, he was out.
People with dementia do that. They just wander.
He doesn't have dementia. Stop
How do you know?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. Neither do you.
I don't, but I'm basing this on how much does he look and act like Joe Biden.
There's a little bit of that going on. There's a little bit of that going on. No, I'm just serious. I mean, I played the audio. I mean, that's all you need to know. I mean, that's it.
So he said he's going to be transparent. Hey, Ned, can you explain the $25 million revenue no bid contract that your wife Seema 4 got back in the middle of COVID? It was considered 100% profit, $25 million in taxpayer dollars, followed by sequentially over the next couple of years an additional $3 million. So Nettie, why don't you go ahead and explain that one there, sweet pea? Really appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
And with that, we move on.
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
Negro nonsense.
How dare you?
This one is first, before we get to the meat of all of this. Did you know that there was a super PAC for Negro affairs? Okay, it may not be Negro affairs, but it's called Black affairs. Well, the head of that super PAC is in a little bit of a jam.
Breaking news, a former political chair of the Durham Committee on the Affairs of Black People Political Action Committee has been indicted and charged with embezzlement.
Yeah, Cassandra Shana Stokes is charged with 2 counts of embezzlement and 1 count of obtaining property by false pretenses. That's according to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. In a release, the SBI says that she's accused of embezzling more than $74,000. The Durham County District Attorney's Office called for an investigation focusing on the potential mishandling of PAC funds and financial activities that took place during 2023 and 2024.
Yes, the super PAC for Black affairs.
So how many is that now? BLM,
yeah.
Black affairs.
Yes. We have the former Congresswoman
Right.
Who is, what was her weird name? Yes, down in Florida.
You got Big Fanny down
down in Georgia.
Right, and then her whole office.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on, in fact.
I'm not generalizing, or I'm not, making a blanket. I'm just saying that there seems to be a little bit of a pattern here. Can anybody else help me figure out this? I'm not sure I can put my finger why it all seems so familiar, but there's some similarity, and I'm just trying to figure it out.
Somebody just sent a message that says Connecticut governors are not allowed to drive. Undercover Connecticut State Police drive them. Fun fact. Okay, that being the case, that's really, really not the argument here. Let's go one step deeper. Shouldn't the guy running for the office know that when he's telling everybody, I'm going to drive around in his car? I'm going to drive around in his car. If he knows it, I mean, if it's a fun fact that I need to know, shouldn't it be a fun fact that the guy running for office should already know? I'm going to keep this car, and I'm not going to take a salary. And I think the middle class has been hit very hard. Why would you tell people that you're going to drive around in a car if you know that you have to drive around with a state car? Just saying. And again, he should know that more than I do. You want some more Negro nonsense?
Sure.
I have even better Negro nonsense. The NAACP has a weird request of African-American students who are in the Southeastern Conference of the NCAA.
It is important for the CBC to keep in their tradition of being the moral of the Congress, but the moral of conscience of this country. No representation, no revenue, no one black should be on a playing field of institutions that's living off of our labor, and yet in states that are seeking to reinstitute a sharecropping reality. It is not the responsibility of black America to hold individuals who should know better accountable for doing better. As soon as the United States Congress stand united to ensure our Constitution represent all of us, we will be a better nation as a result. NAACP this morning, in solidarity with the CBC, we are calling on athletes who are coming out of high school not to attend any state-funded schools of states that have moved to minimize our right to vote, to minimize our ability to elect candidates of our choice, and states that are seeking to create a sharecropping reality. Whether that state be Missouri or Mississippi, whether that state is South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, or Florida. 55% of all African Americans live in the former Confederate South. But the 55% of us who live in the former Confederate South, we will not tolerate a Confederate mentality on our labor, on our ability to contribute, and our ability to be to have representation.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries chimed in.
We are here standing in solidarity with the NAACP and its call for athletes to boycott institutions within the SEC that belong to states that have unleashed these Jim Crow-like racially oppressive tactics, which is unacceptable, unconscionable, and un-American. And we believe that the silence of these institutions is complicity. That's right. And we will not stand for it.
Yeah, they will not stand for it, they said. So, for those of you who do not understand, they are telling current athletes at SEC colleges, one in particular, Roland, is LSU. They are telling those black players to not play, if not transfer out of those schools and go to other schools because of these new, laws that you can't racially gerrymander. Now, you are an LSU alum now. You are officially LSU alum. That is your team, your Tigers, my friend. Can you explain to the rest of these folks why African-American athletes are less likely to jump ship from the LSU organization and move out? Why would that be a dumb idea?
Bread.
It's that simple. It is absolutely that simple.
Yeah, they got a chance to change their lives and their families' lives.
Exactly what
I said. So why would they do that?
Exactly.
I get it. I get the movement and I understand what they're trying to say, but it just doesn't make logical sense for someone that's been going through the struggle and has a chance to change. Why would I go through the struggle, have the opportunity to change my life and my family's life, but say no, I'm gonna transfer somewhere else and continue to go through the same struggle I've been going through.
And here's the crazy part. It's not like they couldn't go to another college and still have the opportunities that they have at the SEC. No, hear me out. No, I'm saying it's not like they couldn't. What if they were a really, really great player? They would, again, probably go to another school, and if they're better than the quarterback they have, they would, of course, switch them up. But that's not, of course, likely. But the bottom line is this. There are new rules in the NCAA, and that means that the players get a little bit or a portion, not a lot, but they get a considerable portion based upon who they are
of their likeness,
of that revenue. It's called the NIL. It's called name, image, and likeness.
Correct.
And they get a cut of that. So now that they have skin in the game when they play in the SEC, and by the way, the SEC is one of the most dominant parts of the NCAA. Those schools that we just mentioned is Alabama. Well, Alabama's in the SEC, right? Alabama, LSU. I mean, these are huge names. Florida. Some of the best talent comes out of these schools. Georgia, Tennessee, right? That SEC is a gold mine for these students. And here we are with it. By the way, here's the crazy part. You want to know the demographics of that league? Career path, SEC visibility correlates with draft stock. The NFL rosters show black overrepresentation to the tune of 58 to 70% inside the league. So if these kids were to get up and bounce out of the SEC and go elsewhere, they jeopardize their opportunity to make any money because guess what? There's already an established player in that team. They're not going to be able to outshine them, and no one's going to take them. Plus, there are rules on whether or not if you leave and go to another school. There's this whole thing about transferring. What is that like? What is it? You can't transfer anymore?
No, now you can.
You can. Oh, you can. That's right.
Okay. There's a time limit.
Yeah, there's a time limit. Yeah. They make it a time.
Right. That's right. There's a time limit in which you can do it.
Like a window.
It's a window. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, and complete nonsense because no one's going to leave their school for this ridiculous argument. No one is. So what's going to happen when no black athlete leaves LSU or the SEC?
You may get a couple of few, and those are going to be maybe mid or a little lower than mid that as far as making money wise.
Yeah, probably a guy who's got a $10,000 stake in all of this.
Yeah, some small. Some small, maybe a couple 100,000. You might get a couple of those guys, but the guys that's making millions of dollars, they're not going anywhere.
And guess what the number is, Rozan? We're talking about millions of dollars. It's upwards of $5 to $10 million that a player can get.
Yeah,
that's how much money they're talking about per year. And they think that some black athlete at LSU is going to say, "Nope. I'm opposed to joining.
I'm good. We bought the culture.
I'm going to join the ranks as the president Derek Johnson said of the NAACP. I'm going to join the ranks of Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Muhammad Ali. That's not the same thing.
Yeah, the only way they'll do that if the movement is going to compensate them.
That's right.
To the money that they can potentially lose to transfer to a different school. And even so, they still might not.
Yeah.
Take that risk.
Absolutely not. I mean, you risk losing your name and notoriety by going to another school. I mean, that money that you're getting is because you go to Alabama, is because you're at LSU.
Yeah.
That's a part of it. What were you going to say, Rozan? I'm sorry. I'm
cutting
you
off.
off.
Break.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, we do. Goodness gracious, I forgot. We have to go to break. We'll come back. I'll let you speak. I promise, Rozan. I totally cut you out of this. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. Rozan, what did I do and that I completely screwed up and forgot? You were trying to say something.
I totally had an opinion, but
I'm
just a woman, so.
You don't even follow sports.
That is not the point. It's not about sports.
Okay.
What I do follow is academics and the academic propensities for underrepresented or, black and brown communities, right? 50 to 60% of SEC students are on scholarship, right? 50 to 60% of those students are on scholarship. So what does that mean? That means they can't just go and transfer to another school. Right. This school committed, and they made this contract together. You come to our school, we will pay for your education. You play football or basketball for us. Roger that, whoa. This blacktivist is saying, leave your school, go somewhere else. And I'm thinking 50 to 60% of these children are young people, right? What sort of communities are they coming from?
Right.
These are black students where not all of them, but a large number of them, a significant number of them, are dependent on scholarships and sports for their way out of poverty.
Correct.
Right? Never mind all this other money that they're getting. So now you're telling these students, go ahead and leave your college. Just go back to the hood, right?
Yeah.
And that makes me think of LBJ. We're going to have them voting for a Democrat for the next 200 years. What you're doing is telling these students, listen, you thought you were going to do something on your own, but no, we can't have that. We need you to come over here and do this thing for us, and we're not even going to take care of you, but you can get food stamps.
Oh, it's such a you're right. It's such a paternalistic way to which to look at it.
And I will say this, and then I'll be done. The dumbest thing I heard today was not that story. The dumbest thing I heard today was Derek Johnson trying to speak. Like,
yeah, he's not articulate at all.
We can help people in their propensities and proliferation. That is an HBCU education, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time for another check of weather and traffic, or at least our first one for the show. Mark Christopher's here. He's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. All right, second half of Reese on the Radio begins now. When we return, we've got Doug Sanders, the VP of Operations for Forever in My Heart Foundation, who'll be joining us at roughly 4:44 to talk about the Forever in My Heart Foundation and their organization, or at least their how they're associated with Canine for Connecticut Vets. We'll talk about that and what the Forever in My Heart Foundation does as we continue our campaign to get a dog with a Connecticut vet, and your contributions mean everything by going to WTIC.com/vets. That's WTIC.com/vets to donate. We need $25,000 to hook that up. Running for Attorney General, John Bolton. He's running late. He's on a lot of traffic, but he's going to be here later on in the program. Plus, we've got a whole bunch of other news and views. Stupidest thing I've read today. Rozan is here and much, much more. We'll read some of your comments and we'll take your phone calls in a little bit as soon as we get back from the break. So stand by for that. Rozan, the stupidest thing I read today is associated with a conversation we had at the Avon Old Farms Hotel during the holiday store.
That narrows it down.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. You will remember when I bring it up. So stand by for that. I can't wait to hear your reaction to this story. You're going to love every bit. I know you are. Or you're going to be incredibly angry at me.
Okay.
It's a toss-up. We'll see. It'll be like a surprise. Mark Christopher, who's always giving us the surprises. Well, what am I kidding? It's traffic in Connecticut. There are no surprises. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Let's get to a couple of the phone calls that are in. Mike is on the line. How you doing, sir?
Is that me?
That's you, sir. How are you?
I got to apologize to you. I'm catching up from some discussion that you and Rozan had maybe an hour ago. And,
okay, that's fine.
It was about the age of the founding fathers, and I'm taking that to mean the age of the people at the Constitutional Convention in 1787. And I've got some information on it. The average age of the delegates to that convention was 44 and a half. Ben Franklin was the oldest. He was 81. The youngest was only 27. And 17 of the 40 delegates that I had information on were actually under 40. So it was an average group, I assume, for the age of the colonies at that time, maybe a little bit older. Just to compare, the median age was 43. The median age in the United States right now is about 38.
The median age of the whom?
the median age of the 40 delegates that I have information for in 1787 was 43.
Mm-hmm.
And the median age in the United States today is about 38. So it wasn't all that young a group. And just FYI, that's I'm not trying to be.
Hold on, no, it's okay, Rozan.
Yeah.
Did you want to respond?
No,
not you, sir. You're not Rozan. You're Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben Franklin really throws it for a loop. But yeah, the average age is between 26 the age range was 26 to 81, 26, 28, 29, 29. Then he had.
So
30.
these are relatively young men, which was your argument.
Yeah, you had 3 that were over 50.
Yeah.
And
so I think
this George Washington.
Right. The point that I think that Rozan's trying to make is the youth of those individuals.
4, 5,
Mike?
6. Yeah, I'm counting.
Okay.
7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 on my list that are over 50.
Okay, 10 on your list that are over 50. What list are you looking at as far as people who signed a declaration, or are you talking about founding fathers?
No, this says there's a full breakdown later on. But regardless.
These were delegates to the Constitutional Convention.
Rozan was wrong. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be an authority. I will say, however, looking at the youth of these men, 26, 28, 29. You've got some men that are older, absolutely. But today.
Yeah, the argument is, I think, that the old statement is that a lot of our Constitution and our founding was a bunch of old white men. I don't believe that is a fair assessment.
Yeah, it was young white men.
It was definitely a mix.
Yeah, indeed.
People and older people.
I got you.
So it was a mix.
Well, thank you, Mike. I totally appreciate that.
Yeah, well, as long as I got you on the phone, I just want to add something that personally I've thought of for a while and thought it wasn't worth a call by itself. My opinion is if your program started at noon, there would be Reese rooms springing up all over the state. That's just my opinion.
There would be what?
Reese rooms.
Reese rooms all around the state. Are you talking about Rush rooms?
No, Reese rooms.
No, I know, but you're saying Reese rooms talking about places where people would go to listen to the show.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah. No, I got the reference when you said it. I totally appreciate it. You absolutely humble me with that comparison. Thank you so much, Mike.
Nobody could be humbler than me, but thank you.
I appreciate you, sir. You got it.
Best wishes to both of you.
Thank you, sir.
His humility was almost as humbling as yours.
Yeah, right. Tom in Watertown. How you doing, Tom?
Good afternoon, Reese.
Hey.
So, listen, most of the time, actually 99% of the time, you and I are completely on the same page.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back to this boycotting thing. I got to be honest with you, as a Notre Dame football fan and a UConn basketball fan, I am all for this boycott.
So you're saying
any one of you top level running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, linebackers, if you want to come north, please come to Notre Dame.
I feel the sincerity and the genuine care in his request.
100% boycott.
Tom is one of these guys who's just like, you know what? I normally wouldn't agree with the NAACP, but now they got my vote. How can I help?
Thank you, sir.
You're absolutely right, sir. Thank you. My pleasure. Let's go to Bill in Granby. How you doing, Bill? What's up?
Hey, happy Friday. It's another great show. I really appreciate the conversations you guys have.
It's not Friday yet. You're just confusing because Rozan's here.
Right. Sorry. It's been a little while.
Sorry.
What's up, buddy?
I wanted to talk about the convention, the weakness of the Republicans in Connecticut.
Are you talking about at the convention or outside of that, or just in, like, you talking about the rank and file Republicans here in the state?
Republican State Central and the failure that they've been to take on the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, so they don't hold – the Democrats – I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but the Democrats have been in power. They've had a majority and controlled the purse strings in Connecticut since Eisenhower. For every year except for 13 years, the Democrats have been in power here. So if you're the Republicans, how do you not make the Democrats own that? They've had a supermajority in the legislature since Reagan, since I voted for Ronald Reagan when I was 18. So here's an issue that nobody thinks about, that the Central Committee doesn't talk about.
Okay.
the Democrats, the party of education, the party that convinces you that they are all about education, the science, and all of that, public school education, they have not raised the ECS funding for 13 years in the state of Connecticut. 13 years. They have starved the local towns and school systems, and 70% of your tax budget is related to the Board of Ed, right?
Correct.
So it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or an unaffiliated voter. The state of Connecticut is pushing the tax burden that they should be helping with for funding education and the mandates that they pass, and they're requiring local taxpayers that are Democrats, Republicans, and unaffiliated voters to pay that.
Correct.
And the evidence of that was this year, all the budgets that were voted down. We voted ours down twice in Granby. I started a local taxpayers group. We voted our budget down twice. It happened all over the state. And then what did Lamont do? He came in and he all of a sudden he found $270 million this year in an election year. But the cost of educating a student in Connecticut, the average is $25,000 per pupil. In Granby, it's $22,000. And what did that $270 million do? In Granby, it amounted to $400 per pupil. When we're getting $10,000 from the state, but we should, if they had accounted for inflation during that 13 years, we would be getting $16,500.
So let me ask you this, and everything you're saying, I don't contest, but I will ask you this. So you're saying that Republicans have not been able to place this at the feet of the Democrat Party. So my question to you is, which is obvious in everything you just said, do you believe the problem with the Connecticut Republican Party is how do I put it, messaging or execution of said message?
I think it's a lack of it's an unbelievable lack of understanding of the ECS formula and where the local tax burden is coming from.
No, I think let's leave that aside, because I do believe that they know, but there's a lot of wonkiness in understanding that to the rank and file voter. I'm talking Democrat and Republican.
Right.
So there's a degree of which the Republicans are relying on mainstream media of Connecticut to get that message out. Even if they had the right messaging, they couldn't get it anywhere, so they're relying on social media, which, again, is not reaching the masses. So what would you say is the best way to execute that message to say, hey, folks, the reason why your mill rates are the way they are, the reason why your home rates are the way that they are, the reason why your electric bills are the way they are the Democrats and the same people you've been voting for since the Eisenhower administration, as you put. How do you get that across if they're not going to be checking you out on social media?
Okay, so that's a great question. I would say you use data analytics and you use Power BI and you use dashboards, which is what we did in Granby.
Okay.
We aggregated all of the data from the Connecticut Department of Education and from the Ed site that had to do with performance, that had to do with costs, that had to do with declining enrollment, and that had to do with the administrative salaries that we're paying. And we basically showed people with visualizations, here's the declining enrollment, and here's what the trajectory of your administrative expenses looks like. Why are you paying so much more, and why do we have more administrators when enrollment's declining to serve fewer people?
Such a good point. Hartford's suffering that now.
Why are the test scores going down when we're paying more per pupil with more teachers, more TAs? Why are the scores going down? So you have to educate the public using visuals that they can clearly see. And that's what we did, and we had Democrats, unaffiliated voters, and Republicans all agreeing that the state was the problem, that they've starved local education, and then you have to say, well, if the state's the problem, the good news is that the bad news is the state's the problem. The good news is the state is also the solution,
right?
Because the Democrats have complete control. So in our town, we basically said, look, all of you people that are electing Democrats, I didn't put those people in office. You did.
You did, right.
Yeah,
you lay it at the feet of the voter. No, you 100. Listen to me. Do you understand why I haven't interrupted you one bit? Do you understand? There's a reason why. First of all, I know City Hall is listening. I know they are, and I know they're hearing exactly as you're articulating it. That message is very, very clear to them, and they do. Now they've got to be able to do and execute exactly as you described. You've got to lay it at the feet of saying, you are the reason why these rates are the rate that they are, especially how you articulated education in this state. You can't be paying more for education and getting worse results. This is what you're voting for. I know you don't want to vote Republican, but if you keep voting this way, here are the results. And again, what I would do is let history be my guide to let these people know this is how you voted. This is what you got. Continue to vote down this pathway. It only gets worse for you. There are promises that it's going to get better, but tell me in the 15, 20, 30 years you've seen it improve.
Exactly. And if you're going to send your clowns and your friends to Hartford, then pick up the phone when they promise that they're going to fund education, and you send your clowns to Hartford. Don't come to the local taxpayers looking for money for the Board of Ed. Call the clowns in Hartford and tell them to send the money, just like they did this year.
Yep, 100%. Great call, Bill. I really appreciate that. I hope you listen. You're right. They have to start paying attention to it's not just messaging. It is absolute execution. And when you can't get it out through the local news media, social media is not going to be enough. It's got to be a groundswell, and it might have to be sort of a ground campaign to get people to understand what's going on and lay it at the feet of the people who are voting for their own demise and against their best interests.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Great call. Thank you so much.
Take care.
You got it. Let's go. Yes, honey. Did you want to chime in?
Yeah. So I'm just doing a quick search here. Connecticut has about a $750 million tax revenue surplus for this year.
Okay.
Zero money is coming from the federal government, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
That's considerable.
There is $750 million sitting and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Just sitting. Untouched.
Yeah, it's sitting there so that it can be.
It's for education. It's for paying off, the
Christmas gifts.
Listen, for those of you who listen to Ned Lamont when he says, "Oh, the federal government is Donald Trump and this administration, they're taking," your governor is lying to you. Go ahead and do a quick Google search, get on Grok, ChatGPT, and ask, what is Connecticut's current tax surplus, and where does that money go? Mm-hmm. You can see. I'm not lying to you. I'm not making stuff up. It is right here. $750 million just sitting and waiting. And what is lying Lamont doing? He is dropping. He is like a steady little dribble here and there, millions of dollars to create another NGO that is doing absolutely nothing. They're hiring teachers. They're hiring educators. They're doing all of these stupid things, and yet nothing is changing. So if you want to continue to vote for Ned Lamont, that's fine. But stop griping about the administration in Washington, D.C., and pay attention to what's happening in front of you. They're dangling a shiny little object over here. Look at Trump, look at Trump, look at Trump. Focus on what's in front of you. Your governor is a GD liar.
Damn. Okay. Thank you, Rozan. Radio coverage. Republicans have to get on your show. 100% right. That's why we invite them here all the time. We have too many Connecticut Republicans that are Democrat lights, Boost says. Yes, that has been argued, and there may be a lot here who are like that. Fight says, literally, you get what you vote for. Yeah, I think, look, I know this time around, people think I'm kidding here. Why would 44% of Democrats say that Ned Lamont should not run again? Why would they say it?
It's the dementia. Oh, I'm sorry, taxes.
Why would they? No, but why would they say that? And the reason why they say it is obvious. It's because they are fed up and they don't believe that he's doing a good job. If he was, they would be saying, please, Ned, more. You don't get that kind of, went from 63% in November to April, where the number was at 48% approval, 47% disapproval. It's not the same anymore. We got to take a break. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio here. Phone calls coming up. John Bolton also coming up. He's en route. He should have been here already, but he's taking his time now since I told him he can come in a little bit. We have another guest on the line who is the VP of Operations for the Forever in My Heart Foundation. Mr. Doug Saunders is on the line. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Reese. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for being on the program. You guys do this every year with us, and of course, the Forever in My Heart Foundation started this program called Canines for Connecticut Vets, and the objective is to get a service dog in the hands of a vet with PTSD and I guess other things as well, to join those two together so they can improve the lives of at least veterans and, hell, I would even say so much as the dog as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As well as we have a contract with the state at York Women's Correctional Facility.
Wow!
So we have a couple of pups down there as well. So Kim and myself, the two trainers, we go into to York every Wednesday morning and train the inmates. So there's a benefit for them as well.
Oh, that's great. That's a absolutely wonderful part. I didn't even know that. And I've done this thing for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
How long have you been with the organization, Doug?
In fact, that's an interesting story. I joined in 2019, the year I retired.
Okay.
It's actually an interesting story because before I retired, I was thinking about what I was going to do in my time, and I was going to get another dog and train her to be a therapy dog and go into Yale and work with some of the kids. So I'd already started that process. My wife is a retired teacher. She came home one Veterans Day and said, Doug, you've got to call this woman at the high school. She just did a presentation on service dogs, and you've got to call her. And that woman ended up being Mira, our founder and president, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
So that's how I got involved with the organization.
Yeah, she was on our program yesterday talking to her and about the importance of this. So you've already had this affinity with dogs your life. I'm assuming that you started in your life with dogs maybe as a young child. I had dogs growing up, and I think that we've all had that sort of relationship. Did you have that sort of usual relationship with the dog growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of dogs when we were growing up, and then I had a golden retriever for years. I did some agility training with that dog, and then I've made the switch into the service dog training and program.
Do you mind?
That's one of the big things. Go ahead.
No, finish your statement. I'm sorry.
I was going to say that's one of the things I spend a fair amount of time doing the training. I also get involved with interviewing prospective clients. In this case, it's military veterans with some typically PTSD, anxiety, some mobility issues, and so forth. So, and then I get involved with doing a lot of events. We were out at the Capitol a couple of weeks ago. So there's always a lot of things going on with the organization.
You know, I was talking to Mira, and one of the things that I found fascinating, in fact, no, I'm sorry, not Mira. I was talking to, is it Justin? I think Justin was a 2024 recipient.
Justin and Astor. Yep.
Yeah, just right. Yep. We had Justin on a couple of days ago, and he had told me what I thought was remarkable. I know very little about service dogs. I never had one, but I find everything that these dogs do fascinating when you learn about them. And one of the things he talked about was how his dog, Astor, recognizes that he's about to have a night terror or a nightmare and will immediately sense that and do it. I've got to ask, Doug, how the heck do you guys train them to do that? That has got to be one of the most, I'll put it this way. There are lion tamers and then there are you guys. Let's be honest, because the fact that you can get a dog to do that, listen to me, I couldn't get a dog to sit down. Okay? My wife is here to attest to that. So can you tell me a little bit of how is there something, is there a secret sauce? Is there something proprietary you can't share? How do you do it?
No, like anything with dog training, you break it down into small steps and build up incrementally until you reach kind of the end goal. So in this case, what we do is we train the dogs to jump on the client's feet because they're typically, as you say, night terrors. They're flailing around and they're not cognizant of what's going on. And the last thing you want is a dog to bark or jump on their upper body.
It's like sleepwalking.
So we teach them to jump on their lower body, turn the lights on, and pull the covers off. So Justin is one of the best examples we have. We have a number of recent clients who've received the dogs, military PTSD type veterans in the last couple of years, and it's so typical how it can change their lives. I'm sure Justin has told his story. 2 weeks into us placing Aster with him, Aster woke him up, and ever since then, Justin has been able to sleep. And like he told everybody, he probably told it on this interview as well.
He did. He told us that he can sleep at night.
Years.
Yeah, it's like miraculous. His relationship with Aster, he told us, was so remarkable that he is doing things he hadn't done in 15, 20 years. This relationship with Aster has completely changed his life, a 180. Even his wife is saying, it's a little jealous. It was like, because the dog is motivating him to do things he's never done before. It's absolutely astounding what you folks do. So you are a trainer. How long have you done that?
Since I joined the organization in 2019.
Oh, so this is very recent then. Only a couple of years.
Well, I did, as I said before, I joined this organization in 2019.
Right.
So that's been 7 years.
7 years. Okay, I'm sorry. The kids think that 7 years is a long time ago. I think 7 years is not that long ago.
But I've been working with dogs for probably 25, 30 years, though.
Okay.
Before that.
25 and 30.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. In a training capacity or just sort of – did I lose you, Doug?
Nope.
No, I was saying in a training capacity or just in other ways?
In other ways, too, but training is one of the big parts of how I spend time with the organization.
Right. Okay, well, my wife Rozan is here. She wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, so
sure.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Rozan.
Wonderful. So I'm trying to convince Reese that a service dog is essential. I have PTSD, CPTSD, 100% VA disabled and rated. So I'm trying to I'm looking into getting a service dog through the VA, but I'm trying to explain to Reese why it would be a great idea to have a service dog. One of my issues is agoraphobia. I really struggle with leaving the house unless I'm with him or with another trusted person.
Technically, I'm her service dog.
You are
right
he is my emotional support human. But I think it's important for someone to understand that may think that this is hokey or nonsense or just an excuse to have a pet dog.
Okay, so Doug, I guess my wife is asking you to pitch it.
Okay.
Or at least explain why.
So actually, Justin with Aster and Paul with Shadow are two of our most recent recipients, and both of them had, and I won't get too much into medical. I don't want to give anything away. But, they had various levels of PTSD and anxiety out in public. So one of the best things we do is we train for specific, let's say, help out in public, anxiety. Now, Justin will tell his story. He could not go out in public and go to a restaurant for more than 5 minutes. He had to get up and leave.
Correct.
Now, for his job, he's actually he and Aster will fly down to Kentucky where he's doing some work for the government, and he will go into conference rooms and auditoriums where he could never stay before. And because he has Aster with him, Aster will calm him down enough. A lot of this is redirection, too. We find that people with anxiety in public, they were concentrating on the people in their surroundings. But one of the things some of the tasks we train dogs to do is, and the handler, is to concentrate on the dog. So you're redirecting their attention from the people in the surroundings to you're paying attention to the dog. And that is life-changing for so many people.
Yeah.
Now, the dogs that you typically train, we're talking golden retrievers, chocolate labs. Is that generally the dog, or does it not matter?
Well, we're breeding English Labrador retrievers.
Okay.
But golden retrievers are great dogs as well. They're kind of ubiquitous, and the labs with service dogs and everything, because they're so easygoing, very very intelligent. They just have the right temperament in general.
Go ahead, Rozan. You had something else to add.
I think it's important also to understand is that you are asking, how does the dog know, like, what's the special training for this? Dogs are much more sensitive to our biology, like our chemistry. Our heart starts racing, respirations elevate, they can smell the adrenaline coursing or the cortisol elevating, and they are trained that when they smell these changes or they hear these changes in your biology, that's when the dog interacts with you, and sort of, if you're in the middle of a PTSD, like a flashback, it's jarring to have someone touch you, because for many number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But the dog has a way of re-engaging, brushing against the leg, stepping on your foot, licking your hand, whatever it is that the dog is trained to do to bring you out of that flashback safely. And so there's a lot of benefits to having a service dog.
Hey, Doug, you guys hiring? She sounds incredibly interested in this. Okay, so your counter to this.
True, but the other part of that is, yes, they're very, very, their world is basically scent driven. But the other big part of that is they're very sight driven with body language. So they pick up on the scent, absolutely. But they also pick up on your body language, your mannerisms. And the better bond you have with the dog, the more in tune they are and able to pick up on what's going on with you as an individual.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I know it's incredible what you guys do. I love listening to you folks talk about it. I think you guys are miracle workers. Dare I say it, wizards? Because like I said, I had a dog. I could barely get that thing to walk and behave.
Your dog was terrible.
We had a dog named Rowdy.
No, you had a dog.
Okay, I had a dog named Rowdy, and he fit the description. I named him Rowdy because when I got him from the what do you call it? From the
SPCA.
SPCA. He literally got away from us, and he knocked down a group of school children. And his name was Gromit. And I asked the woman there, and I said, "Can I change his name?" She was like, "What name do you got?" I said, "Rowdy." She
goes, "Not the name I would have
given him." I think that's perfect. You would have called him Wife Biter. That's what you would have called.
He did. He bit me. Now, on the other hand, my dog, my chocolate lab, was, not with you guys. You guys did not handle him, but I could walk him. And I had him trained. He would stay by my side. We'd walk down the stairs. He never pulled me. He went potty, and I never had any problems with Adam. He wouldn't bark at other dogs. You guys were a hot mess with my dog.
Make sure, folks, you go to WTIC.com/vet. WTIC.com/vet. The work that these folks are doing is absolutely miraculous, not short of miraculous, without a doubt. The training of these dogs and the people that they pair them with and how they're changing their lives. Justin, I think, is a perfect example. We'll be talking to other recipients later on in the week. Douglas Saunders is the VP of Operations of Forever in My Heart Foundation. Anything else that I missed that people should know about the foundation, like how they can join, how they can donate, or outside of going to our website, or if they're interested in recovering or having a service pet? Do you guys provide it for people outside of the ones you pair with?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are foreverinmyheartfoundation.org. You can go online. We have 4 different paths. So if you're interested, you can fill out the path on any one of those line items. For instance, PTSD or mobility or facility support dog. And we're always looking for fosters.
Okay.
to help with socialization. We have a number of people who would just take a dog for the weekend, take them out to Home Depot and help with the socialization process. So the biggest thing is we mentioned who benefits. We as trainers and the organization, because we have a lot of people. We have a nurse on staff that does the HIPAA discussion with the applicant and so forth. So, and the big thing is the largest assistance dog organization in the world is ADI, Assistance Dogs International. Mm-hmm. We are fully accredited with them. We are one of two in the state of Connecticut, and it's been a 3-year process to get that far. Everything has to be documented. Your training techniques have to be approved, et cetera. Obviously, no prong collars, no shot collars, or anything like that.
Right.
So it's very, very involved. This is a completely legitimate organization, very stringent on what we can and cannot do. But the biggest thing is we're changing people's lives. So every year, we have this discussion, and you guys have always come through. The listeners have always come through. So we appreciate all the support.
Thank you so much. Douglas Sanders, the VP of Operations for Forever in My Heart Foundation. Make sure you go to WTIC.com/vet, WTIC.com/vet in order to donate. We're trying to make that $25,000. Thank you, Douglas. I appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Let's get to Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio live here. You know what time it is. News. Today is the worst day in news for music. The worst day. The people who are celebrating their birthdays today are people who I've never been a fan of. If you've ever heard of these people, God bless them. Happy birthday to them. Notori Norton, she was the replacement in that group 3LW. Yeah, Three Little Women. Yeah. She turns 42 today. I remember when she was little. Rachel Platten, who sings that song, that god-awful song, This Is My Fight Song. God, I hate that song. Yes, she's celebrating her birthday today. She turns 45. John Party, who's a country singer I've never heard of, turns 41. Okay, this guy, all right, he's not that bad. Busta Rhymes, you remember from Woo-Ha, got my welfare check. Got you all in check. He turns 54 today. He's younger than me. I'm really upset. Nick Hayward, lead singer of a group called Haircut 100. Never heard of him? Don't care. He is 65. Jane Wieland. Funny we just talked about her, or Weedlin, actually, turned 68. She was the rhythm guitarist and vocalist for the group the Go-Go's. Israel Kamakakawea Ole, I think. He would have celebrated a birthday today. He is the Hawaiian singer famous for that song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the one with the ukulele. The ukulele version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow? You've never... No. This guy sang a version of that was really, really popular. It's moved in... It's in all the songs. But I remember the Don Ho one. Yeah, Tiny so do Bubbles. I. Come on. That's right. And what a wonderful world medley and whatever it was. Right. And, of course, none other than Oscar winner, actress, and singer who gave us the god-awful auto-tune. She's the first person to use it. Auto-tunes. Cher turns 80 years old today. I told you I didn't like one person in here.
Cher's 80?
Cher is 80 years old. Her birthday's today. Some anniversaries, 20 to 30-year anniversaries are for the Foo Fighters. Hard to believe this. In 1997, the song Everlong was on their album Color and the Shape back on May 20th, 1997, 30 years ago. Also, Toad the Wet Sprocket had an album. Remember them? Their name was based upon a skit from Monty Python as well. Let's get to another check of weather and traffic. A guy who I don't think he ever knew Toad the Wet Sprocket or one song by them, because I can't think of one.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and of course our guest is a guy that I literally just found out about this weekend, because no one would stop talking about him. Mr. John Bolton is on the program today.
And you still have me here, even though they were talking about
No, they were talking about you. They were going crazy about you. I'm telling you, there were people grabbing me. Mike Ortiz grabbed me and said, listen, you got to come over here. You got to find this guy. I think it was a guy named Mark they were trying to get me to meet so they can give him my information to get to you. And they were like, you got to hear this guy. You got to hear his speech. The place was going wild for him. And I'm like, what's he running for? I was like, I've never heard of this guy before.
Nobody did.
Yeah, nobody did. Well, you made quite the name for yourself because now everybody knows.
It was interesting for sure.
John Bolton is running against what I would like to call my audience's nemesis, running for Attorney General against William Tong. And, you talked a little bit about William Tong during your speech, which I'm going to get to. But I have to ask you the very important question, and it is important for me to understand what brought you to this place that you had to run. Was it because of William Tong, or is it the state of our union here in Connecticut?
It's both, to be honest with you. So I'm a zoning commissioner in Westport, and a lot of issues that come in front of zoning are paramount in the state right now. It's not just, how tall is Edna's picket fence, right? Or, the setbacks. No, we're losing local control every single day there. And it was really starting to frustrate me. I got involved back in, 2020 when I sued the governor for the vaccine mandate. That was
that was you.
Yeah, that was me. Well, I think there was a bunch of them.
Yeah. No,
but mine was, representing like 40 plus teachers and across the state. And that executive order was illegal.
Right.
And I didn't go with science. I didn't go with this. I just went with statutory construction. And I said, if you're going to do this, you have to do it a certain way. And they completely blew off the proper way to do it. So then I'm involved with that. And then, of course, I got into zoning. And I start seeing this guy, right, my opponent. And I'm like, what's this? Some era from like where an attorney still has to comport himself and be the serious guy in the room. The grown up in the room, right?
Yeah.
So sober. And I start seeing a really unhinged attorney general. And he's just going off. And some of the things he's saying, I'm just telling you right now, we would have failed constitutional law when I was in law school.
Go ahead, please talk, because I have to find some audio for you. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure I've heard it. So, no, but, the things that he just comes out with, first of all, it's a constitutional office that's guided by the rule of law. We're supposed to protect and be the people's lawyer for the state of Connecticut. We are supposed to advocate for the state, for the people of Connecticut. You are not supposed to put politics and political considerations ahead of justice and the law. This is all this guy does. Now, I don't remember when it was, but remember the Dobbs decision on the abortion thing?
I do. I remember it well.
All right. So I'm almost certain it was him that came to Westport, and it was really tasteless. There was a rally for that on Mother's Day. I think it was like 2024. On Mother's Day of all days, right? And he starts screaming and yelling that they're taking away a woman's right for reproduction. No. All the Supreme Court did was return it to the states.
Which
Connecticut has a very permissive abortion statute.
Indeed.
It was in place before Dobbs, and it's in place today.
Right.
He lied.
He did.
And he continues to lie. And he uses political considerations, and he loves to come up with this like faux outrage.
Yeah.
He manufactures his anger, and he goes around beating his chest in this bravado. I'm like, no. The character of your attorney general is really important, and he doesn't have it.
Let's play a little bit of this because, look, again, I tell everybody that I got my law degree from 12 years of Law and Order.
I'll give it to you.
I think I still have more of a law degree than he does. Sorry, let me play that.
Sovereign state of Connecticut. That is why we have a state Supreme Court. That is why we have state laws. That's why we have a capital. That's why we have a legislature, a governor, an attorney general, constitutional officers, because Connecticut gets to decide how Connecticut wants to live. And we get to pass laws to reflect our values and how we want to live, and we get to pass laws to keep our people safe. That is an unremarkable proposition of constitutional law. It is called the police power. It has been around for 250 years, and even before that. It is a power that states have as sovereigns. We are joined together by our consent in a federation known as the United States of America, right? A federation of 50 sovereign states. And we have never, ever, ever delegated to the federal government the right to hurt people in our state.
Counselor?
Wow.
Counselor?
Wow.
Your counter.
My counter is, and I'm sure all your listeners have heard of this famous case. It's called Ulysses S. Grant versus Robert E. Lee.
Mm-hmm.
It was decided at the Appomattox Courthouse in 1865, where federal law and the Constitution reigns supreme. Put a Southern accent on him and make that black and white. You know what he is? He's doing George Wallace right at the doors of the University of Alabama.
Sure is.
It's called the Doctrine of Interposition, and it basically says a state has the right to reject any federal law if it feels that it's moral or somehow, licentious, or, what the morality in the South was, we don't want to, integrate.
Right.
It's not how we live down here. He said we have the right to live the way we want here.
Right.
Wallace said we have the right to live the way we want down here, and we're putting them on that side of town, and they're not coming to these universities. It's the same argument.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
well, you mean to tell me that William Tong is behaving like a Democrat?
He's behaving like a Southern, from pre-civil rights. But yeah,
I would imagine so.
I mean, that's a good way to put it. But it's serious stuff though, because we're not a federation of 50 states. We are a union of 50 states committed to live under the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that anybody. Listen, what if one state wants to go one way and another state goes the other?
Right.
Then you've got chaos.
It's anarchy.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what he wants, to be honest.
I'll give him an A for this. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
No one works harder to drive the state of Connecticut into the ground than my opponent.
Wow. And it's true.
And it absolutely is true.
You're 100% right about it. The part about this that I don't seem to understand is that he's actually standing in front of people who are lawyers. And they're standing there smiling, knowing that he is completely mangling the Constitution right in front of
100%.
Everybody's face with cameras and microphones.
100%. But here's the problem with the supermajority. They don't care.
Yeah.
And I like to say to people, when you have a majority that's perennial, you get a lot of legislation that, creates unintended bad consequences. But when you have a supermajority, you have bad legislation that creates intended bad consequences. Yeah. And that's him. And it's going to end. It's going to end in this campaign.
It's got to end.
No, it's going to end. Listen to me. I'm going to make this very clear. I'm going to be the next Attorney General for the state of Connecticut. My inauguration is on January 7th, 2027 in Hartford, and you're invited with your lovely wife. End of story.
Thank you.
Okay?
This is a serious campaign.
Yes, it is.
John.
It's the soul of Connecticut. We're fighting for the soul of our state. And people have to wake up and see that. This is not Republican Democrat anymore. This is about our quality of life. And what do we want to be? A socialist backwater? And lawlessness on our streets? Like I said in my speech, I ain't apologizing anymore. Not that I ever did. But I am not apologizing for being a Republican and for standing what we stand for as a party. I'm not doing it.
There's an interesting part about all of this that I will tell you, I don't know what it is, but maybe something happened in the last couple of years, and you can tell me if you feel that way. I've been here, I got here in October, but I've been doing this show for roughly about 2 years now.
Right.
I feel like there is a groundswell of conservatism and values that are coming out of, I don't know where, but it's here. And I'm seeing it from a lot of people I didn't see 4 years ago.
Right.
Do you think that's the case here? Is it like sort of an enough is enough kind of deal?
It is, but it's not conservatism necessarily. It's common sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I mean, because it's not necessarily political. And that's my big argument with this guy. People have had enough on both sides of the aisle. You don't think that Democrats are fed up with the utility rates here? And the last thing you want to see is an unhinged attorney general going around fanning the flames, turning up the heat, when our discourse right now is really not a good situation, right? You are supposed to turn down the heat, dial it down, be the sober adult in the room, and explain the law. You may not agree with it all the time, but that's why you're the attorney general.
I feel like this guy was just running around trying to grab any headline he possibly could to put in his billfold.
Yep. Oh, this is a pit stop for him.
Yeah,
come on, everything.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I thought there was.
Right?
I thought because, in fact, some people in the inner circle of politics in Hartford were rumbling, and I heard it way more often than I didn't hear it. And that was the moment that William Tong became sort of this crazy person, as they've been describing him, is when he realized that Lamont was going to run for re-election because they had believed that he was going to be the next governor or at least run.
Yeah, I've heard stuff like that.
You heard that? Okay,
yeah.
Good. I'm not. Yeah,
no, you're not
but that
wrong.
was kind of where his mindset was when all of this stuff really became sort of the radicalization of William Tong. It was all to platform himself to say, look, I'm in position until Ned Lamont had decided he was going to run. And Lamont had waited pretty late until he decided. So when you saw William Tong in all these places, it was always said, it was like, yeah, he's clearly, pushing for a higher office, and governor seemed a place to be.
So listen, this is just, and I can't prove this, but this, scuttlebutt, they call it.
Yeah.
But that Lamont ran for a third term because he was concerned about concerned about Tong becoming governor.
Really?
How about, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what a couple of my sources told me. Now, again, it's all political speculation. It's kind of stuff that shows up in a column somewhere.
Yeah.
But you never know because he's really telegraphed that this is a pit stop for him. Whereas for me, it would be the, complete peak for me to be the attorney general because I'm an attorney for 35 plus years. I want to be the people's lawyer. Whatever has people upset at their kitchen table at night, that's going to be my problem.
You just said something that just really, really scared the hell out of me.
What's that?
That I hadn't noticed it before. This guy would be a nightmare if he had actually run for governor.
We are fighting for the soul of Connecticut.
100% right.
Bigger than any convention, bigger than any candidate, bigger than any movement. We have to get our state back.
Yeah.
And it's going to start with me. When you want to change stuff and turn things up on its head, you mess with the laws. And that's what he's doing. It's anarchy.
Yeah. And again, I think that what's wild about this is you mentioned this thing about Lamont being afraid of a possible William Tong run.
Speculation.
Yeah, no, speculation at best. But think about that from this angle. And I'm sort of considering and I'm sort of spitballing as I'm hearing it. There has been this thing going on in the Democrat Party, and this is, again, not to smear them. This is actually some things that they have done. I think that they are literally fighting each other to see how far left they
100%.
can go. It's like it is a weird – with Josh Elliott and Ned Lamont as well. It's like there is going to be two raccoons scrapping in a burlap bag to prove to each other that they could be more and more progressive. 100%. And if it hadn't been these two guys, William Tong would have probably just gone out in there and just say,
100%.
I think the so-called Mao Zedong moniker that he's received over the last couple of months.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah, that's what they refer to him online.
I've never heard that.
They're saying that that was a strong possibility. We got to take a break. We're going to we'll be back with John Bolton when we return. Stick around for that. We're going to have him for the rest of the hour because he was running late, but I wanted to give him as much opportunity to talk to you and for you to get to know him because a lot of people didn't today. And we'll talk about your speech at the convention. I'll ask you some other questions about the convention and what the atmosphere was like that when you were there. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is back. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
We are returning with John Bolton, who is running for Attorney General I guess in November, and we're going to give you all of the information so that you can help out and join his campaign and a bunch of other, as well as all the other campaigns. But we need to help John Bolton so that he can unseat the current mess that we have there as William Tong. So make sure you do that. Also, remember to go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. You get the program there. You get the YouTube channel there. And you also get all the songs, the parody songs that we have are live on there. Also, you get to read an excerpt from my book. And you can also send us a message. So if you've got a story idea or a place that you want myself or Rozan to go, because you guys care more about her than you care about me, just do it right there. Go at the bottom of the web page. It's all on one page. Just go down there and fill it out, send a message. And just to let you know, okay, because I know what's going to happen when I say this. If you go to reeseontheradio.com and you go to the message board and you give me a message, here's the thing. It goes directly to my cell phone. That means you are instantaneously talking to me, okay? So if you wish to, go right there. That's right. I'm giving you access you wouldn't believe. I'm not giving you my cell phone number, but hey, technically it's the same thing. So if you've got a message to send to me, do it right there. You got something you're interested in. And don't forget, I'm trying to go to factories. I want to go to manufacturing plants in and around Connecticut before they're all out of here, before they get restored. Yeah, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
All three of them.
All three of them. Yeah. Just we're trying to get there because I want to see them, and I'm really, really interested in manufacturing plants. So I want to do that. So if you know of one and you've got a boss who will let us come by to take a tour in the morning, we'd be happy to anywhere around the state. We'd love to come out and see what you do so we can talk about it here on the air, as well as, local businesses, parks, recreation stuff. Please let us know. We just got here, John, like in October, and we are trying to, I didn't really get the opportunity to do this in 2004 when I first came to Connecticut. Right. And now I really have the opportunity. I have a wife who likes to spend money, and I have a little bit. So I think I'm going to have to appease her. You got to spend money. So, and she wants to be everywhere, and she loves this state. So I'm trying to get her anywhere and everywhere so I don't have to entertain her.
So are you going to buy her inaugural ball dress for me? We'll talk after.
Yes, we will talk after. Right. In fact, yes, if you have a business that sells inauguration ball dresses, you can also hit us up. Go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com and send us a message. We'll be back in a minute. More with John Bolton. But now let's get some traffic in you. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is. You know who it is.
It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I got people yelling at me going, there's an excerpt from your book. Yes, I'm writing a memoir. If Julie in Boston, Julie's been following my career since way back in 2007. Julie in Boston, just a friend of mine. Okay. And she just had an excerpt from your book. Yes, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. You can read it yourself. And yeah, that's right. She just found it. So now she's reading it.
That's cool.
So we're here with John Bolton, who's running for Attorney General of the state of Connecticut. At this convention on Saturday, the GOP convention, you get up there.
Friday.
I apologize. Yeah. Not Saturday, Friday. You get up there, and as you describe it, a virtual unknown person. Yep. Some of the people in the room know you, but they know you're running for Attorney General.
Right.
You are technically running unopposed in this. You just accepted nomination. You had no primary to speak of. In fact, your vote was a simple aye and nay, and everybody said aye, and there were no nays.
That's right.
And you get up there and you give this speech. But I want everybody to hear the backstory to this, because it is, I'm telling you, it's near and dear to me in how this program sort of formed.
All true.
Tell the story, sir.
Yeah, I get to the Mohegan Sun at about 11:45. They wanted us there by noon. Mm-hmm. I get my credentials, right? And all candidates get like that purplish color. Everybody had different one. Media was yellow or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a read of the place. I want to get a lay of the land, go and read the room. I want to see the stage. I want to see the podium. People are like, can we help you? What are you doing here? I'm like, I'm a candidate. They're like, with who? And I go, I'm the candidate. They're like, who are you? But there was a air there. Something was wrong. It wasn't a fun place to be when I got there.
Of course.
There was, the whole Aaron Stewart thing was just looming over that convention, and you could feel it in the air. I'm not going to go as far as to say it was a black cloud, but I felt like I was walking into what was going to be a very flat, rote, and fractured convention, and it really concerned me, just because. And so I finally went up after walking around and, saw some friends. I went up to my room, and I had to, not the traditional, but like, my dad was a state employee for 30 years. I love Connecticut. I've been practicing law all these years. I ripped that speech up. I literally ripped it up. And there's a camera, right? So,
right there.
So, okay. So I started writing notes to myself.
Yeah.
And because there was I'm not letting this happen. Now, to the extent that I had the power as, a relatively newbie, I wasn't sure, but I was like, I'm going to do anything I can in my power to turn this dynamic around and change the tone in this hall. And it's really what I felt anyway. Mm-hmm. And that's where I just wrote some notes, and I just went up there and let it rip, because it was really important to me to let everybody know that there's something much bigger at stake here, not just one candidacy. That, the timing was weird. I hated what was happening to her.
Right.
Erin's a human being. She's a mom.
Right.
We're 2 kids. She's a wife. she's put a lot of time into public service. Now,
sure.
I'm not going to talk about the other stuff that's associated with it, but what I do know is that I didn't like the piñata effect that she was getting.
Right.
Just in the media, whatever. And there was I guess a pall, I guess you could say, over in the air.
Yeah.
Something was wrong. And so I started jotting stuff down. I said, I am not going to apologize for being a Republican. And that's when I just started going down the list. I'm not going to apologize for things we believe in. I'm not going to apologize for, believing parents have a right to say what their children's education is going to be like. I'm not going to apologize for the things that we stand for. We have to go out there and stop rationalizing and explaining why we're Republicans. Mm-hmm. It's very self-evident. We're far more in touch with our constituents than they are. They're so drunk with power. They're so out of touch. They are so tone deaf. The arrogance is just unbelievable. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something. We have an incredible the ticket's really good. It's competent.
This ticket's really good.
Competent people, up and down. And I can't,
can I just say this though? This sounds like it's not really important, but not only is the ticket good, everything down the line, I gotta say they just look good. I saw Matt Corey standing next to Ryan Fazio. Yep. Damn, they look good. I mean, they look good together. I'm just going, that's a strong ticket. Two strong men who work hard, who understand this. Ryan does look like a guy. Look, does he look like a financial wonk? Of course. But he's kind of got that Clark Kent appeal.
He does, right?
He does.
A little Camelot.
And you look at Matt Corey, and he's got the square jaw. He's chiseled. He's just, and it looks good. Going down it, it's like everyone looks like they care. They look confident. They look smart. Dude, I'm sorry, that camera, my wife's going to get mad because they say this about her. That camera didn't do you any justice.
I'm the most unphotogenic human being on the planet. I'm going to say it right now.
Would have never said that. Listen to me. You don't even look like a lawyer, but you definitely look like somebody who wins. That's what I'm getting from you.
Thanks.
You work like a winner. You actually
we are going to win.
I tell you that is what I want this party to represent is that we are winners, and it's got to be felt in the soul.
And we're right too. By
exactly.
The way, on the issues. We really are.
And we don't need anybody to tell it. We're not looking for affirmation.
I don't want affirmation. I don't want any of that false moral superiority where they frame the issue and make you look like the weirdo because you actually because I believe there's two genders. I'm the one who's nuts. So for the last 3,000 years, we were all, going on the wrong premise here?
Yeah.
I mean, stop. Just stop.
It's a really, it's an important thing to push as a party. As you said in your speech, you didn't even just say about yourself that you were no longer going to apologize. You were telling those delegates the apology tour is over. This is about standing up for what we believe in, knowing that it's right. And I tell these people all the time, I get in these arguments with the left who, they're coming with. I'm like, you guys think I'm in a debate with you about trying to convince you. I'm done with trying to convince you. This is not, you are absolutely stuck in this whole thing, like wanting me to believe how you do. I already know I'm right. Yep. And people tell me that's arrogant. I'm going, no. But the evidence supports it. So why would I argue with you?
Stick to the facts.
I sort of look at the Al Gore effect. It's like Al Gore's going to come to us every 6 years and say that the earth is going to end in 6 years. I'm going to tell you that the earth isn't going to end in 6 years, and I don't have to worry about convincing you because in 6 years, you'll avoid telling me that I'm right, even though I am.
Reese, when they don't have the evidence and they don't have the facts or the intellect, all right, to debate you or to discuss with you, they go to excoriating you, denigrating you, insulting you, calling you Nazi because they can't think of anything else to say.
Yep.
That's how they play. And I'm not going to sit there and back off from that. They can call me whatever they want. I really don't care. I know that whatever I say, I do my homework, and I won't throw anything out there that isn't true. And I'm telling you, it's not even a Republican or a Democrat issue. It's just basic common sense. That's all it is.
Yeah, I'm like I said, for the rest of these knuckleheads who scream and holler at the rafters, I ignore them. You have a website, I presume, right?
It's Bolton 4, number 4. There's two, actually, so they go into the same thing.
Okay.
So it's Bolton 4 AG.
Okay.
Bolton numeral 4, or number 4 again, 4 or CT. So Bolton 4 CT or
Okay.
Bolton 4 AG.
All right, Bolton 4 CT, and I'll post this on my Facebook page.
We really do.
You do need help. You need fundraising.
Yeah, they got the power of incumbency. I heard he raised his funds within 36 hours.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I did. But, remember who the power brokers are who are behind him.
Power of incumbency, and that's fine. I don't care. You know what? It doesn't matter because I'm going to win. You heard me say it the other
you're
day?
looking me. I know when you said that.
Swear in the eye. I'm going to win.
I talked to you on the phone, and everything that I hear, I scrutinize. But you know what? You haven't changed. You haven't even flexed a little bit on this. You are certain of this.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am, because I'm right. I know the law. I know a hell of a lot more law than he does. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, just keep your eye on this New Haven lawsuit, the sanctuary city stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big problem for them.
Oh, I'm expecting it to be.
Leading up to November 3rd.
Yeah, this is the reason. One of the reasons I'm hoping to speak to the administration about this is because that lawsuit has got to come very, very soon. We've got to get into court for that.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's in the early stages, but I know what they're going to put up for defense, and it's going to fail.
Yeah, I definitely expect that.
Sure.
Again, Bolton 4 CT, that's number 4, Bolton number 4 CT.com, right?
Correct.
Go there so you can help John Bolton to get over this hump. The only way it's going to happen is with your help. And I know that, look, I don't have to motivate any of you to realizing that AG Tong has got to go. This is an opportunity for you to do exactly that. So help him out. Look up John Bolton and everything that he's doing. 35 years, by the way, before you get out of here. 35 years as an attorney.
Correct.
What kind of law?
A lot of corporate law.
Okay, corporate stuff.
And some I got really into the constitutional stuff during COVID.
Really?
But, the first 10 years of my career, you know what I did? I prosecuted excessive force cases.
Really?
Yeah. So when they take away qualified immunity, I know all about that stuff. I know what police brutality is. And what happened in Minnesota, 1,400 miles away, has nothing to do with us. But yet they take that.
Wasn't that wild?
Crazy.
It was exactly my argument. I said 1,500 miles. But yeah, you're right. 1,400 miles away, this governor took that as a mandate.
Correct.
And worst off, he was literally going after the police department here. And I couldn't imagine. Every officer I talked to just said,
so offensive.
Like, when the heck have I didn't do anything.
We have really professional police here.
Yeah.
And to me, I couldn't believe that and by the way, that was done within 24 days of the Floyd incident.
That's right.
They moved with all due speed to put that in there.
It was.
You know why?
Yeah.
To pat ourselves on the back and join the cool kids leftist table.
Totally.
Right? That's it.
I think that there's a problem with the party, at least on the left for that matter. They ask themselves every day, how can I be a part of the national conversation?
That's right. Or that's what I call the cool kids leftist.
Yeah. It's like that's what this is. And you really watch them just behave.
You get it.
It's crazy. And again, I'm from New York, so I understand New York's always going to be that leading market. But when you're left behind, you almost do the most insane stuff to sort of like, hey, look at me.
Well, New York and Massachusetts look at us as that big rest stop between their, two big cities. It's true.
They do, but
am I right?
I'm trying to get people to stop saying that about us.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. When I take them both to federal court, that will stop.
Damn right. I couldn't agree more. I think part of the reason why they've treated it as a rest stop is because who's in charge.
Well, we roll over.
Yeah, it's pretty true. John Bolton, please go to his site, Bolton 4CT.com to help him out. John, it's been great meeting you. We're going to talk after the show anyway.
Sure.
But great meeting you, and yes, you will be back without a doubt. Of course I'll have you back. I'm going to have all the candidates back, of course.
Really hard.
Listen, everybody knows as biased as I am, how biased I am. I'm trying to get Republicans elected, and if the Democrats want equal time, no kidding, they're never going to show up. But I told them they have equal time. I told my boss that I've given them equal time. I show up at their press conferences. I say, hey, come on the show. They usually refuse, so there's no equal time for them because they won't give it to themselves. So screw that. We're just going to have to, bring you guys back. So, I have some guests here. John Bolton, again, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. We will. Michael A. says, awesome interview. This person, if a person does something wrong, no matter what party they are affiliated with, they are responsible for their own actions. Stevie V says, good point, Stevie V.
100%.
And Boo says, I don't work there. The barnyard in Ellington, they sell and manufacture small sheds. Oh, actually, I would totally go check that out. There's somebody mentioning another place for me to go check out a manufacturing plant out there. And so, oh, by the way, my ex-wife actually said this in the chat room. Mary says, your speech was amazing.
Thank you, Mary.
She lives in Alabama.
You know, I was down in Alabama as general counsel 3 years ago.
Really?
I loved it there. But spent 10 days a month there, the rest here. I
loved it. Really?
I was in Montgomery.
Oh, really?
I loved it there.
Yeah, that's kind of an historical place.
But it was just the whole culture.
Yeah?
Good people.
A lot of good food?
Good food, good people, just, common sense.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Listen, man, again, it is a pleasure finally meeting you. We got a chance to talk. We're going to talk a whole lot more.
I got
beyond a shadow of a doubt. We're going to have a lot of fun getting to know each other here in Connecticut. And you know what? I will be at your inauguration, and thank you for inviting us.
And don't forget to take your lovely wife for
her
ball gown.
I'm not allowed to leave the house without her. Do you understand? Didn't you hear earlier? I'm her emotional support animal for some reason.
I've met her, and I'm not sure why you would ever want to leave the house.
No, I have no idea. None whatsoever.
Better half.
She is my better half, without a doubt. We're going to get up out of here. Roland, when we're done, we have to make sure his campaign manager and everything said that we have to take a picture together. They said he cannot leave without one, so we have to make sure that we get him a picture before. I normally don't do it, but for you, I've had a great time with you, and a lot of people that. I'll take the picture. You're a great guy. I don't think anything else. What are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow on the show, I don't think. Oh yes, Mark in West Hartford said to me, and I have to make sure that I do this. I think we are going to have the town manager of Tallinn on the program tomorrow to discuss the cockfighting ring that happened. Yesterday or the day before. So as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night and a pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.